when I went to KPC, it was my later became home secretary also. So in Karnataka. So I joined my first line. Where is my room? He said, who said you were going to sit in office? So I was in the field for 3 years.
Right. In Bangalore?
Bangalore. Can we start? You ready?
So everyone just
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Bouncing Back Each Time, the motivational talk by Mr. Vivek Atray. Hello, sir. A very hearty welcome to you. Mr. Vivek Atray is an IS officer and a well-known novelist. His first book, Move On Bunny, The Uproarious Escapes of Bunny Kapoor, did spectacularly well. His new novel, Dubey Bounces Back, is all about turning one. He has also excelled in the fields of IT, public relations, technical education, and tourism for the government of Haryana and Chandigarh. He has written dozens of articles and medals for the Tribune, the Times of India, the Hindustan Times, the Indian Express, and in an India Today supplement. He has won much acclaim for his role in attracting investment by a large number of IT companies to the city beautiful Chandigarh when he was the director of IT. He has also played a significant role in bringing Chandigarh on the tourism map as a director tourism. He has also worked in the corporate sector for KPMG and PwC. He has an acclaimed orator and has been a popular speaker at various events. He organizes the annual All India JP Atray Memorial Cricket Tournament, in which over 80 renowned international players have played over the past 2 years. He is a founder member of Chandigarh Literal Society. Welcome to you, sir. I also welcome Dr. Dali Koshi, DG and CEO of IAM, ATDC, Mr. Shumir Singh, Director IAM, Mr. Shobhit Arya, Wisdom Tree Publications, press members, faculty, and students present here.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that introduction. I hope you can hear me at the back. Can you hear me?
Sergeant Mike.
If you can hear me, raise your hand. I can only be heard till the halfway. Not till the back.
Oh, is it on?
Yeah.
Now.
Can you hear me at the back now? Okay. Thank you for this welcome, Dr. Koshi, Sumir, Shobhit, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mr. Kaushik. I'm really proud and happy to be here speaking before you. I'm going to make a presentation on bouncing back in life, bouncing back each time in life. But I'm going to say a few preliminary things before that. This introduction of mine, which you heard, is a little embarrassing because it's quite long. But having put in about 20 something years in the government and 2 years outside the government, what happens is every year you do something, so the list just gets longer. And if you Google, then you find some good things, some bad things as well. And this mixed kind of experience which all of us go through in the course of our lives is what life is all about. Life is not about a smooth life. I'll come to that. It's about challenges and taking them on and bouncing back each time. So I am presently posted as, in fact, I'm midway between two postings. After spend some time in IT and Atray, my colleague from Atray, Mr. Sadhana, is here. I had moved to school education in Haryana in May, and spent 6 months in what I call compulsory military service, because the school education department of Haryana, believe it or not, actually gives you an experience which is like being on the front. And there are 1 lakh teachers in Haryana. With the election year, we had unions, demonstrations, protests, demands, court cases. And I told them, I said, 6 months is what I'm going to be here, not more than that. So those 6 months are like 2 years, at least. So having come out of that now, I'm posted as the Deputy Commissioner of Panchkula district, where I'm going to join tomorrow. So I'm here in the interim to give this talk. So if anyone lives in Panchkula or is from Panchkula, they can raise their hands. I see someone smiling, but no, not from Panchkula. One person from Panchkula. So if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. But coming to my talk. What bounces? Bounce is a word we use quite often, but very few books have bounce on the cover. I've seen only 1 or 2 more. And one is called Resilience, Bouncing Back. So I saw that recently, and it's a self-help kind of book. But when we decided the title with Shobit, Dubeji bounces back, it seemed a good idea, and it proved to be so. But what bounces? What all bounces? There may be a longer list than this. I just have a short list. Checks bounce at times. If you don't have money in the bank and you present a check to someone, then you can be arrested. So that's not a good thing to do. You have to be careful. It happens to all of us, actually. It happens to me when I deposit a check of a bill, Bijli bill or something, and then I find that it won't. But then, it gets serious if someone complains. So checks bounce, emails bounce. Emails bounce if you don't have the right email ID. They bounce for other reasons also at times, when the inbox is full or something like that. All kinds of balls, they bounce. And sports is played primarily with soccer or golf or tennis or cricket, primarily with a ball. But yes, there is badminton, which is not played with a ball, or there are other sports like chess where there's nothing like a ball. But balls bounce, except short putts. If anyone with a short putt tendency, it's not going to bounce once it lands. Either has anyone heard of a medicine ball? If you've been in sports like I have been a cricketer at the under-19 level, and we used to have something called a medicine ball, which we used to weigh a ton. So you used to kind of stretch with it, play with it, but it doesn't bounce. Teams bounce, they bounce back at times. And if you look at India's cricket team, it used to bounce back a few years ago, but nowadays other teams bounce back when they're playing against India, except when India is playing in India, when we are the Tigers, undefeated Tigers of the home. So what happened in fact, too much cricket is played these days, even for those who are not cricket fans. Even for those who are cricket fans, they are not cricket fans anymore, because too much of a good thing is also not acceptable. And if you love mangoes, for example, a saint in a talk said, how many mangoes can you eat? Can you eat 64 mangoes at one go? No. So too much cricket is being played. So what happened in the summer series, India versus England in England, is forgotten, because so much cricket has been played after that. But what did happen was that India drew the first test match, won the second test match, and lost the next 3. So who bounced back? England bounced back. England bounced back to defeat India. Then people bounce back. And that's what this presentation is about. So life is like a parade. And when the about turn comes, the last person becomes the first, and the first person becomes the last. So if I call the backbencher of this room to come and sit here, and Dr. Koshi, if I request him to go and sit at the back, then it's about the. So what happens is that the last person in the room or in the queue or in anything need not despair. Need not. Because a turn of events may happen that suddenly changes life. You know, when helmets were made compulsory, helmets in India, they were not always compulsory, by the way. We used to have very hard heads. You couldn't get hurt on the roads. And the roads were made of Dunlop mattresses. So we didn't need helmets. But then they were made compulsory because people were getting killed. So when helmets were made compulsory, who benefited? The helmet wala. So the helmets were being sold by the lakhs. And then we had something called pagers. Pagers, the young people don't know what pagers are, but the slightly older people know what pagers were. They were there for 2 years. 2 years or 3 years maybe. In hospitals a little longer. But these pagers were, the pagerwalas were on top at that time. And then suddenly came mobile phones. So trends change, and people who are in a particular business or in a particular profession, their importance goes up and down with trends. Unless they are flexible and they keep changing their profession or they keep changing their USP, then they remain on top. But otherwise, life is about ups and downs. And there is light at the end of every tunnel. Believe it or not. When the light is switched on, said a saint, the darkness vanishes as if it had never been. When the night is there, it seems that dawn cannot come. I mean, it's so dark. But when dawn comes, darkness vanishes as if it had never been. At the end of every tunnel. And there are dark moments in every life. Anyone who didn't have a dark moment or difficult moment in life, if you are here in this room, then you've spent some years on this planet and you've had some difficulties getting there. No one in this world can say that they have had a 100% smooth life. You know, there's a when the IPL matches used to be on in Mumbai, I'm not going to name the person, but there was somebody seated on the ground as the owner of the team. He was about 20 years old and he was about 200 kgs. And you know, I used to think that this person needs to have a more difficult life in order to be more healthy. Because when everything is at your beck and call, and then you're eating pizzas and burgers and milkshakes and whatever. I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not talking about anything else. But you are getting everything so smoothly, then you will pay somewhere. So your health is going to tell. So it's not possible to have a smooth life on this planet. And therefore challenges are bound to come. But there's always that next turning which can lead to joy. So if you give up somewhere along the way that, okay, I've been on it, at it for a long time and now it's not leading anywhere. Maybe that next turn which you did not take was the one which led to success. So someone else who had the resilience and the fortitude to go ahead, he probably won the race. Extra is what life is about. So the saint said that a smooth life is not a successful life. A smooth life is not a successful life. And a successful life is not a smooth life either. You can ask Dr. Koshi, you can ask any IAS officer, you can ask any Tendulkar type person, you can ask Lata Mangeshkar, you can ask Dr. Manmohan Singh, Mr. Modi. If you are successful, then you face more challenges. You face greater difficulties, and therefore you have to overcome those. So you keep on facing difficulties in life. And there is this old thing that, which many of you may know, that while climbing up the ladder, be kind to people you meet. Because when you're coming down the ladder, you'll meet the same people again. So don't trample over them. Don't be mean to them. Because you're going up. Be kind to them. Because you'll meet them again someday. But a smooth life is not a successful life. So what do we need to combat the challenges of life? We need inner resolve. Inner resolve, inner strength, somewhere that little bit of willpower. And we need faith. Faith in what? Faith in our own ability. Faith in maybe in our family, in our friends, in the Almighty. There may be people who don't believe in God, but that's fine. But faith in some kind of inner power and some outer power which is looking after us. And before I come to more details, a few more life skills which are linked to this kind of thing, which are linked to being a bouncer who overcomes challenges. One thing which professionals who are going out to the world at large now, and many of you in this room will be at large very soon, and you'll be on the loose in a way. Anyone know the author of the book India Unbound a few years ago? India Unbound. Gurcharan Das. Gurcharan Das wrote India Unbound when the economic reforms came in the 90s. So India Unbound, in a way unleashed. But being a team player is what will be important when you are unbound from the education system and you are into the corporate world or into an entrepreneurial role. Many of you may become entrepreneurs, set up something of your own. You may be the chief, you may be the head. But being a team player is very important. So a guy who's a team player, not someone like Jeffrey Boycott. Jeffrey Boycott was a man who played for England some years ago. He knows it. Dr. Koshi knows Jeffrey Boycott. So Jeffrey Boycott was someone who used to get his partner run out without fail. Anyone who's played cricket out here? Oh, he's played. Good. So anyone who is getting his partner run out is not a team player. Because if you sacrifice your own wicket for the team, or at least you don't do it deliberately or you don't do it carelessly, then you're a team player. Someone like Suresh Raina today could be a team player. Virat Kohli, not so much yet. More leadership skills, yes, but team skills, maybe not. Someone like Tendulkar, team player. Dravid, team player. Yes, Sehwag, never selfish. Never selfish. And Federer, Roger Federer has won the Davis Cup for Switzerland. I mean, if Roger Federer was a spoiled brat at a young age, he's not so now. He plays for his country with the same passion as he plays for himself. Whereas, if you look at the Soccer World Cup recently, I'm a sports fan, so I give only sports examples. If you look at the Soccer World Cup recently, there was a team which went back very early and where the players did not want to play for the country. They wanted to play only club football till today. England. English players want to play only club football. They're not passionate about playing for England. So that kind of tendency, selfish kind of tendencies, even today Indian cricketers, young cricketers are more interested in the IPL than playing for India. These are selfish kinds of tendencies. Being a team player is vital. Look at the larger interest of the organization, and if it goes with your interest, if it matches with your interest, that's perfect. And then don't worry too much about what others say. If I just talk about the first two words, don't worry. That's very important in itself. What is worry? Worry is a brake. When you're driving a car, you're pressing the accelerator of your life, and you press the brake at the same time, it's not going to work. What do we worry about? We worry about what people might say if we do something. What will happen if I don't do well in my exam? What will happen if my girlfriend runs off with someone else? What will happen if so-and-so says something to so-and-so and then what if some intrigue is there being planned against me? So we worry too much. We worry about things which ultimately rarely happen. They don't really happen. There are people who worry about accidents all the time. When someone is getting late coming home, they worry about accidents. There's no point. Very few people, I mean, road safety is a major concern. And deaths on the road are the biggest, highest number of deaths are coming from deaths on the road compared to cancer, heart disease, anything. However, night that so-and-so hasn't come, what if he has an accident? No. There's no point. There's very little chance. So don't worry too much. And especially don't worry about others, what others say. You'll never be a star or successful or innovative or different if you are going by what everyone else does, what everyone else says. You have to be a path breaker to be different. If you want to be a path breaker, then you have to take some risks. You have to go against the tide, and you have to not think about what others say. Think what your friends say, that's fine. They care for you. But don't be afraid of the outcome of what you do because of what people will say. And I have a TED talk which is coming on the next slide. It's about being an all-rounder in life. So know a little bit about everything. It's a little linked to being an all-rounder in life. What happens is that we know very much about our own profession. Everyone knows their own profession. So I'm an electronics engineer by training. So if I know something about electronics engineering, I'm expected to know that. But if I meet a chef from France in a train, am I going to be able to ask him some intelligent question and have a conversation with him in English maybe, not in French? Am I going to be able to ask him about the kind of food he prepares or say a few words in French maybe? Comment ça va, monsieur? Bien. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Something. So do I pick up a little bit from here and there that helps me in life? That is something very important. If you are unidimensional, not looking out, not aware and alert about the goings on in the world, then you're not really an all-rounder, and life is a little drier than that which is more varied. So in order to make life more interesting, more enjoyable, and your accomplishments a little more diverse, it is important. If you are very much obsessed with your work, even so, it is good to hear some music at times, go for a walk, have some art, writing, reading as your interest. You'll do better in your work if you do that. And keep learning. Keep learning all the time. No one can say that he knows everything there is to know and that's it, I'm done. Even if he's a master of his own field. There's a Dr. B.N. Goswami in Chandigarh, who's a Padma Bhushan, and he's an art historian. He's a very famous art historian. I find that his talks are astounding because he's always well researched, he's always up to date, he's about, I think he's 75. And he is just amazing in the fact that he knows everything there is to know about Indian art especially, but he just keeps reading and learning at that age. And every time he speaks differently, and he comes out with nuggets of information which we didn't know that he had. So my TEDx talk was at Sushant Lok, Gurgaon actually. They had organized a TEDx event. It was on being an all-rounder in life, and it is doing well on YouTube. So if you have 17 minutes any time of your life, do watch it. TED Talks are not more than 18 minutes, and they are on a variety of subjects. So I had in fact, during the TED Talk, I had a challenge because I prepared for about 16 to 17 minutes. And they have a clock on the stage, they have a digital clock right on the stage where you're walking. So I didn't look at it for most of my talk, and by the time I was almost finished, I was very confident that it must be about 15 minutes now, so I'm going to come up with my climax. And then I see, what is it? 12 minutes. So I'm going very fast. And then I had to come up with 3 minutes of some mumbo jumbo at the end, which you'll be able to make out if you watch it. But luckily, it kind of doesn't seem so. If I didn't tell you this, you wouldn't realize it. Maybe now you will. So have a look. So you could have anything as your interest while being an all-rounder. Sports I put separately because sports is not only important as an interest. I think it's an important life as people. Even watching sports on TV brings out the right kind of hormone feelings in you. They're positive feelings. They are energetic feelings, even watching sport on TV. And of course, going outdoors is much better than gymming. I can tell you that. Because it's easier to go outdoors in Chandigarh than Gurgaon. But still, go for long walks, go for badminton is indoors, but whatever. Play. Have some sport in mind. Photography is something which comes naturally to everyone because they have a camera in their pockets these days. Even my phone cam is interesting enough for me to take some interesting pictures. I don't have time. But when I put a picture on Facebook, then I think I enjoy my photography, whatever I do, little of it. So whenever Shobit tells me not to write books next time, he's my publisher, by the way. So then I will be getting some time to do some photography. It's good fun. So this kind of thing then leads you back to your Monday morning routine. If you've done this kind of thing on the weekend, much fresher, fitter, nimble, raring to go. We come to this. This is Dubeji Bounces Back by Vivek Atray, that's me. And Dubeji Bounces Back is at the back. You can see 3 copies displayed vertically. So Dubeji Bounces Back is a book which is about bouncing back in life. And this boy who looks like anything but Dubeji is actually Raghav Dubey. So they call him Dubeji to pull his leg because it's the right thing to do. And how he is timid, shy, morose, underachieving at the age of 27, and how he undergoes a life-changing moment where a client of his, because he works at a bank, a client of his in the fiery mood the situation leads to an accident where he ends up in hospital. So lying in the hospital bed and staring at the ceiling, he wonders whether he should have gone like this. And he would have gone like that from this world without leaving a mark, without achieving what he should have, without doing anything in life worth speaking of. So how this man gears up for the rest of his life, pulls up his socks, shaves his mustache, nothing against people with mustaches, by the way, and how he decides to get a makeover and turn over a new leaf. And how at the end of the book, not giving away too much, he is a different man. How he's achieving the goals he sets for himself at work, at life, and how he meets somebody, because I know that all the boys are looking at the other person on the cover, Avni Singh. How he meets Avni Singh somewhere and then romances her, and he's too shy to talk to her at first, and how gradually the friendship grows. He's too shy to talk to anyone, especially the lady. But then he comes into his own and becomes a different man. It takes time, takes effort. It's not easy, but he bounces back from a very disastrous situation, and how he becomes a winner. This book is available on Flipkart and Amazon as well, here in this room, and I am going to be available with Dr. Koshi's permission to sign some copies after this for those who are interested in picking them up. I hereby appoint each one of you in this room as the ambassador of this book. So whether you read it or not, go out and promote it, tell people about this book, and tell them to buy it. Because I write humor. I write cheerful books. This is my second book. And I feel that Indian writing does not have enough of humor. And if it does have humor, it is below slapstick. So in fact, this cover doesn't show that. Very modestly, I must say this, an intelligent dose of, a healthy dose of intelligent humor. Hindustan Times. A healthy dose of intelligent humor. Sorry. And this is currently my favorite quote, so it's a little long. If you can have a look at it for 10 seconds, then I'll explain what it is. I don't know who Standale is, but he's come up with a quote of a lifetime. He says, I've always been the opposite of paranoid. Now, what is paranoid? For those who are a little, somewhere in the middle at the back, not accusing anyone. But paranoid means that you are afraid all the time of something or the other, scared of something or the other, worried all the time. He says, I'm the opposite of paranoid. Difficult to do if you are a human being. We are all human beings. You're not superhuman. But he's the opposite of paranoid. He operates as if everyone is part of a plot to enhance his well-being. Now, this is something more magical than the first sentence. You know what we are normally? We think, the neighbor is jealous of me. Why does the neighbor, he thinks that I have a nice car and, he's going to scratch it sometime. Or this landlord of mine, he keeps asking for rent because he's supposed to ask for rent. Or that person, he's always bitching about me. I'm sure he's talking, negative stuff. Or this is going to happen, that is going to happen. People are against me all the time. No one likes me and, I have to make way for myself. Or at least we have a few people whom we think are against us. A few people. Because the Bible says that if you have anyone who's against you and who said something against you, then the Bible says forgive them 70 times 7. 70 times 7, for those who are not good at maths, is 490. So forgive someone how many times? 490 times. And if you forgive someone, what happens? The burden is lifted from you. When it happens, who's losing? Who is suffering? You. If you sleep, if you're lying awake at night, angry with someone, see him tomorrow, or he did this, and I'm going to get back. Who is suffering? Who is being defeated? You. Anger is the worst possible quality you can have. Anger is the worst possible quality you can have. Very bad thing to have. But if you think that everyone is part of a plot to enhance my well-being, if I think that all of you in this room are my well-wishers, even though I got late coming, my train got late, I've taken up your time, but you're still my well-wishers. And if I think that the man on the road is my well-wisher, when I ask him the way to something, he's my well-wisher. Or the fruit seller is my well-wisher. Or the maid who comes is my well-wisher. Or the passengers in my train, co-passengers are my well-wishers. Anandi. So what does Johnny Walker do? He goes up to someone on the road and says, Jayachand, kaise ho? Gives him a hug. That guy says, I'm not Jayachand. He said, doesn't matter. He said, I give you a hug and we met each other, we become friends. So that kind of attitude actually is the attitude to live by. Being thankful for what you have in life and just live by that. And pretend that everyone is your well-wisher. Then you become calmer, you become better. So that's a quote to live by. And this is the book I follow, The Autobiography of a Yogi, which is a very powerful book. If you haven't read it, that's why many of the quotes which are there are from Paramahansa Yogananda, and many of the thoughts are definitely from him. And this book is a life changer. Those who haven't heard of it, it is a book for all religions, for all walks of life. And I'm not promoting the book, it doesn't need to be promoted. But I'm trying to tell you that if you can read this book or similar books, it's good for you. When I read it about 7 years ago, I took 1 year to read. Busy reading a few pages here and there. Now I read 1 page every day. And it's really inspiring. He said, Paramahansa Yogananda said, be calmly active and actively calm. This is one of his quotes. If you Google, you'll find thousands of quotes. This is one of them. This is a quote again to live by. Calmly active. What does it mean? You have to be active in life. You can't go in the Himalayas and sit and meditate all the time. Or even in Delhi, you can't meditate all the time. You have to be active. Calmly active. The example he gives is of a pendulum. What does a pendulum do? It swings into action and gradually comes back to the center of calmness. So you have to be like a pendulum, always ready to swing into action. But somewhere in your mind, you're calm. And actively calm means what? Throughout the day, make an effort to make yourself calm. Because we are busy people. You see, when you get to office or work at 9 o'clock, let's say, before you know it, it's 12 o'clock. Some people can't even go to the washroom. I have had jobs where I haven't been to the washroom till 12. Oh God, I haven't even been to, you know. So then that is the time to suddenly calm yourself down when you go and have a drink of water, washroom. Because the frenzy of our lives, we are so frenzied these days. And our biggest enemy in life? What's our biggest enemy in life? This is our biggest enemy. I call it the great intruder. Because it intrudes into our life, into our space. We take it to the washroom, we take it everywhere. You posted my picture there, so he is obsessed. So what happens is that technology, and I am a little bit, I've been involved in technology, you heard about my profile. Technology is something which has to be a facilitator. But it becomes our guru, becomes our Lord and Master. We want to look at our phone every 10 seconds. There's a disease. It's a disease. Especially if you keep your WhatsApp on silent mode, then what wonder go and see what's happened. So most people have last scenes at 3 a.m. 2:30 a.m. Unhealthy. Unhealthy. So we really need to calm down. Calm down. Calmly active and actively calm. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And do we have some questions? If anyone has questions, they can ask questions. But if you don't have questions at the present time, or some people I know, there are two types of people. Have you seen the good, the bad, and the ugly? So he says there are two types of people, those that come through the door and those that come through the window. But that's not it. There are two types of people, those that ask questions in the hall and those that email questions later or Facebook questions later. So you can be either, I don't mind. Vivek.Atray, where's it go? Vivek.Atray@gmail.com, and vivekatray.com is my website where I have about 100 articles, which are short pieces, 500 words. You see, when I was writing 500 word pieces, I suddenly, in 2011, I decided that let me try a book. So I wrote it and it worked out. That is, how many words? That was about 40,000 words. And now Dubeji Bounces Back is 52,000 words. So I decided that from 500 word pieces to 52,000, that journey would be pleasurable, and it was. So equal to write, and I would urge all of you who want to write it, don't be shy about your writing. I know a lot of people who have secret blogs. They have a blog and they don't tell anyone about it. They write whatever they want, and they write poetry. Most people write poetry and they don't want to share it with anyone. They keep it hidden or on the blog or something. But you should write, and if you can share your work, it is fantastic. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you so much.
Questions later, no problem.
Thank you so much, sir, for your motivational talk, which you said about life, about everything which we should do if we don't. And now I would really want Shobit, sir, to come up and say a few words about how was your experience working with him and how was this publishing life journey with him.
The good thing about publishers, they know what to say all the time, and Shobit is very good.
No, in fact, it's very difficult to say anything after this, you know.
But I will tell you what my publisher, Dr. Kushi, you're on a dentist chair. Till I tell you, do not move.
Absolutely. He put me on a dentist chair.
So that was
I had to smile all the time.
Yes.
I can possibly only share a little secret, which is that you know, everything and everyone who's come in contact with Dubeji Bounces Back has been bouncing higher. So the book sales have been bouncing high, and so is our balance sheet, thanks to Vivek. As he just said, Mr. Atray just joined, bounced higher to be the DC of Panchkula, and we wish him all the best starting tomorrow. In fact, the last talk that he gave in an institute like this in Pune, while we went out of stock with the books, I'm given to understand that the students' performances have also bounced higher since then. So I wish all the best to each one of you who's here, and wish you a lot of bouncing high moments in your life. Thank you.
We can interact at the back if anyone wants. I'll be there for a while. Thank you.
He's from I am.
We have an alumni association which Sandeep is promoting. The network is very large, so we thought, this must be a memory.
Very sweet. Thank you very much.
I'm grateful to the
Thank you, one and all. Now you can please proceed for the books and all. You can buy it and you can get signed.